Fortnite's been out for over 7 years, but I bet you don't remember everything that's ever been in the game because we're looking at over 100 things that only OGs will remember.
One of the earliest rifts in Fortnite was hidden in a basement underneath Wailing Woods. Not many people landed here, and when they did, they were in for a massive surprise. It led to an entire underground complex full of scientific equipment, but more importantly, rifts to other locations.
Ever rifts.
I don't know if it's just me, but I seriously didn't notice a change to balloons. You would have thought they stayed the same after all these years, until you look back at old footage and realize they're holding it above their head. This blocks you from using guns. It's super different from the version we have now. One of the cutest POIs we have ever had were these builds spread throughout the island. You'd land here and be able to edit them and customize it, but look from afar and these aren't random builds. They're all in the shape of an animal, whether it's a fox or a llama. They didn't serve much purpose except for looking adorable.
Good for Luke.
Something that worked a little too well is the boogie bomb.
Yes, this was insane.
Quickly rose to fame as the most annoying Fortnite item of all time because of one reason. Once thrown down, this would affect an enemy for 10 seconds, even if you were shooting them. Nowadays, it cancels the animation once they get damaged, but back then, it was unstoppable.
Ridiculous.
Almost as annoying as grenades and rockets. For just a few days, Epic changed explosives to penetrate structures. This meant you could fire a rocket next to a build, and it would explode outside the box, but still damage enemies. It was such a controversial change that they even had to ask players on Reddit if they should remove it or not. The answer, overwhelmingly yes. There is a feature I can't explain though, and it's the secret name of Coral Castle.
Atlantis.
I know everyone hates this place, but when it first got added, it wasn't even called that. For some reason, people loaded in, looked at the map, and were introduced to Carl. Around the same time, we had Coral Buddies on the island.
I love Coral Buddies.
A part of a special challenge that let you use materials to evolve their society. This upgraded them all the way from the Stone Age to a modern-day city. Eventually, they developed a nuclear weapons program to try and defend themselves from outsiders, only for it to literally blow up in their face.
Look, a nuke explosion. Are you kidding me?
From Coral Buddies messing up to Epic's huge mistake, Shadow Stones were a big problem in Season 6.
Oh, really?
It used a glitch to turn completely invisible, ruining lobbies for everyone.
That's
a fun fact that even OG players don't know about is the original name for V-Bucks. Ever since day one, they've been called this, but during development, they were actually going to call them Battle Bucks.
Told you, I'm an OG.
Speaking of old discoveries, one of the first gliders in Fortnite was hidden in the season shop. You had to get to level 25 just to have the chance to buy this thing.
I got that.
It was supposed to be exclusive to the shop, only for Epic to accidentally bring it back, causing a huge controversy.
Goodness.
If you had trouble getting to level 25 back in the day, these would have helped you out. Everyone knows about the battle pass tiers hidden in loading screens,
this was good.
A lot of people forget about XP coins. You could be minding your own business before coming across a giant XP coin. Honestly, the feeling was amazing.
Barely remember them.
As old as the OG submachine gun. This is such a classic weapon, and it sadly never returned, probably because it was terrible.
They brought it back for OG.
Longer than Fortnite's rarest item. The Eye of the Storm Tracker is a backpack that was only in game for 30 minutes. They accidentally added this, causing a few players to get their hands on it.
It's meant to be the jetpack.
The next storm phasing with no effort, and Epic straight up panicked, removing this immediately.
Take it out.
Now you might think that Avengers was the first ever collab, and well, that's kind of true. There was still an insane crossover in the same month BR released.
Really?
Epic invited a ton of content creators to be added to the game, with exclusive banner icons for their logos, like Vanoss Gaming, Muselk, and even PewDiePie.
Yeah, they're in there.
You can wear these banners in Battle Royale, making them the rarest and the first collab. An experience you didn't want to try is the swing set of death.
Oh yeah, don't go near these.
This swing was the only object with physics enabled. No other item could be pushed around like this, and for some reason, this freaked out the anti-cheat.
Did not like it.
We were teleporting around, kicking, or even banning players for quote-unquote hacking.
My gosh.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're banned,
I got banned. I just got banned.
Thankfully, they came back, unlike the forgotten currency of Fortnite. Long before gold existed, they collaborated with Borderlands, adding
real
cash.
money.
You couldn't spend it like you can with gold, but it was still pretty cool for its time. Things get disturbing, though, when you head over to Sunny Steps, as this POI held a dark secret.
Really?
You could find a llama being cooked and eaten alive, with its skeletal remains above a campfire. Back in 2018, we got the very first April Fools in Fortnite. They don't do this anymore, but to celebrate the occasion, Epic decided to prank players in the best way. Without telling anyone,
they still did
impulse grenades to have 10 times more power, causing people to launch themselves straight to their deaths. Things got even worse with boogie bombs receiving super jumps, so all the tryhards trying to get an easy kill were trolls.
That was way before shockwaves, by the way.
Epic pranked players. Over at Dusty Divot and Greasy Grove, we found ice cream trucks that had 100,000 health.
It was so strong.
Like a glitch, but one of them was making chest noises, so we spent forever trying
Dusty
to break
Divot.
it. Once the van was finally gone, you either got a chest or nothing at all. And you'll know about the OG tac shotgun, but you might not remember its hidden secret. This gun had a screen on the side that you couldn't view while in third person. It wasn't until people saw the concept art or went into replay mode that they realized it had a game of Snake on the side. Maybe it's just me, but I felt like we were all obsessed with Fortnite China back in the day because of just how different it was.
Yeah, I played it.
Thanks to the strict gaming laws, it had no microtransactions, challenges to earn V-Bucks, and exclusive skins. Buy V-Bucks. Everyone went crazy over this, with updates always adding something unique, like the removal of Skull Trooper and Mystique's backbling turning into a ball.
Yeah, they had to adjust everything.
It was shut down in 2021, but a feature that had to be removed was OG live events. One of the coolest parts about these were how they took place in real matches.
It was so good.
You could genuinely be playing a regular game of VR only for a rocket to take off or a cube to spawn.
Yeah, you could
Nowadays,
be killed.
We have dedicated playlists with immunity, but back then it caused a disaster with a world record for solo eliminations being broken by a griefer. As for the most forgotten collab in history, we have the Kingsman umbrella. It got added with basically no announcement. They didn't make a trailer or anything. People just logged in and found a crossover item. Yeah, it could be used for gliding, attacking, and blocking, which made it super unique, but it was mysteriously never seen again.
Never seen again.
Epic also quietly shut down a tournament. Friday Fortnite was a huge fan-created competition that kickstarted the careers of people like Tfue and Mongrel. At one point, the tournament was pulling more viewers than The Walking Dead. And existed long before official competitions like FNCS.
love Fortnite Friday.
Like I said, sadly, Epic shut it down. Thankfully, though, they kept a glitch in the game that is still around to this day.
Rocket riding
was actually never intended. This was discovered by total accident, yet players loved it.
There's a glitch with the pumpkin launcher.
That Epic was basically forced to keep it in. And ever since, you could practically rocket ride anything, from battle bus rockets to the Cybertron cannon. And that's not even the weirdest item.
Crazy.
There was once a random mythic that no one remembers. In the Impossible Escape LTM, you could find the Raptor Claw. Sounds like a weapon, right? No, it was a useless quest item that you had to deliver to an NPC. Because of how meaningless this is, most players never even knew it existed. Just like they don't know about Fortnite on a disc. As a free game, you wouldn't expect this to be on store shelves, but for the first couple of weeks, it was. There are people out there who seriously own Fortnite for Xbox One, and it sells on eBay now for thousands of dollars.
I want one, that's
Over in Season 8, you'll remember the Unvaulting event, but there was a whole build-up that brought the community together. Puzzles appeared around the map asking us to emote or pickaxe runes with millions of health to move it. Eventually, this all led up to the unlocking of the vault. One of my personal favorite OG items is also a reference to Metal Gear Solid. Cardboard was randomly added in 2020, allowing us to hide inside a box and throw down for extra camouflage.
Then we got an actual Metal Gear Solid
Snake's iconic tactic, but it was a decent strategy, and they even brought it back in Chapter 5 with the official collab. For anyone still in the mood to prank players, you were actually able to harass your own teammates. For a massive chunk of the first season, team killing was enabled, and it was chaotic. People would wipe out their own squad either as a joke, or let's be honest, it was to steal their loot. That's because arguing over a rare item was way more deadly back then.
People got banned for it in the end, I think.
But it would be even worse with the Star Wand pickaxe.
Oh, dude, this is insane.
This is simply known as an item that sweats use, but it had a more sinister purpose in 2019 when people realized how destructive it was. The Star Wand, for no reason, was able to deal 56 damage. You could knock someone in only a few hits, or if you got lucky enough to headshot them, it could take players out in seconds. A feature that was completely forgotten was punch cards. These are really helpful in Chapter 2, helping us get a ton of XP simply for playing the game. Now they're replaced with milestones, which are arguably super boring in comparison. But we did get a ton of excitement from Chapter 2's traps. A lot of these went under the radar, like the fire trap, which could burn down a build in seconds, or the poison dart that would literally shoot marshmallows on enemies. Still not as annoying as stretched reds.
Oh yeah, it looks so bad.
Found a way to edit their file settings and glitch the game to give them an advantage. Made every stream look warped, but they claimed people were easier to hit with a higher FOV. Whether that was true, we don't exactly know, but Epic was concerned enough to ban it anyway. Just like they were worried about the controversy surrounding police cars. In 2020, we had a lot of things happening around the world, and it caused Epic to move them into the vault. We haven't seen them since, but there were two different versions over the years that never got to be drivable. They've appeared in trailers like the Futurama collab, causing speculation that they would return, but I'm not holding my breath. Let's take it back to the first ever secret area in Fortnite. Near Tomato Town, there was a tunnel that cut through a cliff. It was totally normal looking, but if you broke the wall,
still
it
don't know
revealed a
this.
hidden area with chests and ammo boxes.
I always go here in OG Fortnite.
We've been keeping an eye out for more secret rooms. Speaking of records, the Icon series didn't actually begin with Ninja. It all started in the Season 3 Battle Pass.
They're gonna say
There's an emoticon that simply looks like a math equation until CDN the Third came across
CDN the Third.
No, they didn't.
Put his icon in the Battle Pass. Epic have always been supporting the community.
Look what it says. Positivity. Have a phenomenal gaming experience.
That's sick. That's so cool. He
If you
must
don't know
be
CD in
buzzing.
the third, let's just say he's the guy who exposed how OP pump shotguns used to be.
Oh, yeah, look at this glitch. There's a long-range glitch. Shotguns would hit, like, across the map. How OP? I was away when that happened. I didn't get to
They
experience
can do max
that.
damage from across the map. I mean, this wasn't even a shotgun anymore. It was a sniper.
What?
One of the craziest facts is how the suppressed pistol and boogie bomb are older than tilted towers.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
This wasn't always around, despite it feeling like it lasted all of Chapter 1. Tilted was added in Season 2, and before then, the area was just a huge open plot of land. Wasn't the only thing missing back in the day. If you ran out of materials, it wouldn't automatically switch to the next
You
one.
had to manually do
you could be
it.
building only to die to fall damage out of nowhere. Some Chapter 2 players will definitely miss side grading though. This is a pretty forgotten feature that only lasted a couple of seasons,
cool feature,
but instead of improving your weapon's rarity, you can swap your items out for a completely different one.
Imagine swapping a
People
scar
love this, and maybe it'll
for
come
heavy
back in
AR.
the future, just like OG Factories, the most famous classic
Factories.
drop spot of
Love
Fortnite.
this
If you
place.
played in 2018, you know about this
We
place.
were landing there.
Was it on APOI? Yeah, tons of people landed here, especially
course.
before Tilted. It was so popular, Epic even brought it back in Season X. Now, you might have heard me mention this throughout the video, but we gotta talk about the Season Shop. This was the first version of the item shop with a catch. You had to level up just to unlock the cosmetics.
This is obviously now
and
since
then you could
come
pay
back.
for it with V-Bucks. Total mess, and every outfit was exclusive to the season it dropped in.
OG
so
styles
basically,
given to
this
people
was
for
an
this.
early version of the Battle Pass, and thankfully, they changed it. Still
Code
not as
Ali 8 to get
chaotic
anything
as
in the item
Risky
shop, people.
Reels chest challenge. For some reason,
This
no
was
one at
so
Epic thought it was a bad
hard.
idea to lock the first secret skin behind a ridiculous
Get
quest.
7
You had
chests,
to
I think
open
it
7
was.
chests that risky,
Yeah.
causing the whole lobby
Look,
to land
this is
here
what
trying to
every
complete
game
it.
was like.
Borderline impossible. And Epic even referenced it years later in this legacy achievement. So at this point, you're probably an OG. That means you'll definitely remember Orange Justice. Let's be honest, most Chapter 1 players know
Legendary
about
emote.
this. It was the dance of the year, and the story was incredible. The Orange Shirt Kid entered the Boogie Down contest, was thought to be the clear winner, only to be ignored by Epic. The outrage from the community was so big, they added it to the Battle Pass with the name
gave it to
Justice.
us.
A much different ending was the fate of the block. I'm not talking about the one from Tilted Towers. I mean the original POI that was in the game for quite some time. Every week we got a
the
new design
community
made by
block.
the community, and it was incredible.
I loved
Some
landing
map
there.
makers even hit bonus looted secrets so you would drop at their location.
You could put
But things
one
went too
legendary
far when
chest
one creator added a controversial
map.
scene in a basement, causing headlines to point it out and
Yeah.
Fortnite to remove the
Gotta
place
get rid of it.
entirely.
One person
Maybe you
ruined
might have
it.
known that, but there's some players who have never heard of the Golden Mushroom.
I've heard of it,
It's
but
one
never
the
got
rarest
it.
items in Chapter 2 with a 1 in 10,000 chance of spawning. So if you were
Jeez.
lucky enough to find it, you would earn 100 shield in a second.
They need
And there
more
was a detail
golden
hidden in almost
rare
every OG
things.
skin out there, which no one really talks about. A tiny tradition that was even in Fortnite's logo, dog tags. People look back on this years later only to realize they're gone. We have no idea
Are they?
why, but now that I pointed it out, you'll never stop seeing
Are
it.
they gone?
Controversial, but also
That's
not.
weird.
I just wish 100% chest spawns were still in the game.
Oh, I
This is
love
one
100%
of the
chest
best
spawns.
features in Chapter 2, allowing us
always
to land
land
at the
somewhere.
same place every game and find
Yep.
chests in a guaranteed spot. POIs are more interesting and fun to land at, and nowadays you can land at your favorite place and have literally no loot.
nothing.
But back then, 100% chest spawn allowed us to create our own personalized drop spot that didn't rely on stupid RNG.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know I could not make a video on things OGs remember without bringing up a double pump. It's a strat that dominated Fortnite's
Which
meta
they
for
brought
months,
back.
and some people claim that its removal ruined everything. We'd love to
So
see this
fun,
back for a
so
week,
OP.
maybe even in a custom mode, because it was honestly fun. Being
I
able to
love
pump
double
and switch and
pumping.
fire again immediately,
So OP.
satisfying.
Yes.
Then we have the most famous weapon of Chapter 1, which is only in the game for a couple of days.
The grenade?
There's only a handful of real clips
Oh,
out there
yeah.
with the Zapatron. That's how rare it is. If you were lucky enough to genuinely use this, you deserve a medal.
This is
Since
also
they
meant to
removed
come
it,
back.
Fortnite has teased its return countless times, only to
Could be
never
any
bring
day
it back.
now.
So maybe next season will fix that.
Yeah.
By now we're all familiar with the Chug Cannon and Bandage Bazooka. But would you believe me if I told you there's a secret third version? In the Bodyguard LTM, you can find a mythic that only uses one inventory slot.
what?
But after just a few hours, it was deleted because
What?
of how broken it was.
That's sick. I
Another
never
weapon
knew that, I
everyone
don't
forgot
think.
about existed for less than a few weeks. In Season 2,
I
Spy
played a
Games
lot
had
of
a bunch
this.
of tech, just like perks we have today.
I played a a lot of
with
this mode,
insane
actually.
luck, you would unlock the suppressor and trusty dual wield at the same time.
Yeah.
This revealed one of the rarest weapons in the game.
It
dual suppressed
was never
pistols.
available
That's
outside
not
of
the
that.
only
I
unique
used
feature
that.
Epic removed, because in Season 9, you could eliminate people with water balloons.
What?
They're usually a toy emote, but when the Splashdown LTM released, they were turned into a deadly weapon.
This is
That's not
very
as weird as the
OG.
day
Wow.
Fortnite removed an entire POI by accident.
Wait,
After a normal update, everyone jumped in to find Believer Beach and Holly Hedges had been wiped
they
out.
did.
I'm not talking about destroyed either. They literally vanished.
Don't know what happened
You might
there.
also remember the Octane collab, but did you know Rocket League put another car into Fortnite? During Llama Rama, there was a house on the
I
island
didn't
with
get
a huge
this.
fan living there. You
Wait,
can find
did I?
posters, trophies, and
Yes.
a one-of-a-kind Whiplash Super Circuit.
The only one on the
If
map.
you don't remember it, you probably also missed out on a free battle pass. At the end of
Yes.
Season 7, the Share the Love event gave out some Valentine's rewards, and to compete with the launch of Apex Legends,
Yep.
they did something insane by
reward
giving
for using
Season
code
8 battle
ALIA back
pass
then.
to everyone for
Worth
free.
doing. Yes.
Who remembers the time Fortnite forced you outside to earn V-Bucks?
Wait, what?
Season 5, they had a PCB challenges
I
where you
don't
could
like
earn
to touch
battle
grass.
stars, an exclusive contrail, and 350 V-Bucks.
Wait, what?
All you had to do was some simple quests. Seems easy, right? Well, there was one problem. They had to be completed at PCB computer cafes,
What?
which are in South Korea. Even that had more fans
don't
than
remember
people who
that.
remember Storm
That's
Destruction.
insane.
This was only in the game for half a day, which isn't surprising when you
I
find out what it
remember.
did. If a match went on for too long, every build in the Storm was deleted. It completely
Yes.
ruined endgames. As for the
Such a bad
Fireworks flare
idea.
gun, you probably remembered this as a Chapter 3 weapon, but for OG players, it's even more familiar. Epic actually did this in 2018 for July 4th by
yeah, the
reskinning the grenade
grenade
launcher
launcher.
to shoot fireworks. It wasn't that impressive because hardly anyone noticed.
Yes.
In Chapter 1, there was a structure that couldn't be destroyed. When the cube first arrived, it crushed this innocent HUD, but that wasn't the end of its
what, the HUD
story.
got
Over the
destroyed?
weeks and months, it slowly rebuilt, this
remember this
time
spot.
with
Great for
upgrades.
maps.
All of this just for the black hole to take it all away again.
Yeah, see you
At least
later.
it returned as a coffee shop. These mini map
Oh, is that
changes
what
are
it
always
was?
forgotten
Oh.
about, and the same could be said for the meeting. North
A
of Wailing
meeting?
Woods, you could find a scarecrow, teddy bear, and gargoyle sitting in a circle.
they
It's always
doing?
pretty creepy, but they got wiped out when the volcano arrived. I'll
Goodbye.
admit, nothing's worse than forgetting about a mythic item while it's still in the game.
No one bothered
a lot
getting
of people
this.
dislike the primal season, but one thing everyone
wasn't
can agree
great.
on is how useless the Spire
Yeah,
jump
it's
boots
so
were.
hard
They let
to
you
get.
double jump and glide, but the real problem was how you got them. You had to defeat a Spire Guardian
Yep.
across the map, then carry the orb
Carry
to
it
the main
so
tower just to waste
far.
an inventory slot. I mean, no wonder they were hated.
So
Sometimes
bad.
Epic just likes to experiment with things, and that's why you probably don't remember the Teams of 12 LTM.
Teams of
This
12?
was actually a thing and worked like 50v50, but
Barely
instead of two
remember this.
teams, there were 8 of them. They even made other versions like Teams
No.
of 20 and 33, but they must have not been popular because
Yeah.
they never returned.
No,
the
no,
same
don't
can be
remember
said
those.
about gliding. Epic tested a feature in Season 6 that gave everyone unlimited glider redeploy
Yes,
in all modes.
free
It made
redeploy.
mobility a lot easier
It was
and
quite
encouraged
fun.
more fights, but after the test ended, they decided it was too much and tried it as an item instead.
Yeah, they did use
Of
it as an
course,
item.
That didn't last long either. You
No-
also
no
had to
free
be in the item
redeploy.
shop over 1,500 days ago to pick up the rarest back bling.
Oh, I think they
Buckle
may have
Bundle was only
returned.
sold 3
Have
times
they?
in Fortnite history and hasn't been seen since 2018.
Wow.
We also never saw the
That's
return
OG.
of Renegade Raider's secret item. Back in Season 3, the servers went out for over 24 hours, and the Rust Bucket
did they?
back bling was given to players
Yes.
for 0 V-Bucks.
This is
You probably didn't
really
realize that it's
OG.
not the only back bling for Rust Lord, but Renegade Raider as well. Now
Really?
let's flip the script. Epic also
Is
promised us a storyline trailer every month, but I guess forgot about it. When Burning Wolf was introduced with the first shadows, he came with his own special animated
This is a
trailer
cool
and
trailer.
revealed Midas's clear voice.
Yeah, Midas.
We were told there would be more for the others, but we never saw anything come of it, and they
No.
even deleted the video a few days later.
What?
Epic seems to have a problem with removing things, and the upgrade bench suffered the same fate. We all know about the ones
you
that used to
later.
be on the map, but did you know there was a throwable version?
You could pick them up,
Spoiler,
right?
They completely broke the game and only lasted for one
Oh, wait,
season
what?
before getting vaulted.
Got
There are so
stuck
many
in it.
vaulted items that you probably forgot the time you could clone yourself. The Spy season added a ton of interesting things, but one of the most underrated was decoy nades.
Oh, I
You
remember
could
Nate. I
literally
remember
create
those.
exact copies of yourself to trick enemies into shooting the wrong
They were
one.
just in
Another
creative though,
forgotten
weren't they?
item is
Maybe
the
they weren't.
minty pickaxe. This thing was
Oh, people went
infamous for becoming one of
crazy
the
for
most
them.
sought after items in the game, with
Yeah.
endless giveaways, codes for sale, even
Codes.
GameStop being sold out. It was based on one of the most popular pickaxes and never sold in the item shop, which generated a ridiculous amount of hype, with some codes being sold for
Realize it
hundreds
was
of
that
dollars.
rare. That's
Even
crazy.
the default dance isn't saved from the vault. You might know how the emo is different music each time you use it, but it originally had a third track.
Didn't
it
know
sounded
this either until
identical to
recently.
Faith by George Michael, so Epic were forced to delete it.
gotta get rid of
Ninja
it.
also found himself deleted by Tfue when the two pros ran into each other in
the
a real
first
game
ever
in Chapter
1v1
1.
in a public
it was
game.
a fight everyone had been asking for, and let
Tfue
me tell tell you, it didn't disappoint. A legendary moment for sure, but not as special as the lost golden umbrella. There's so many rumors about how to get it, from winning 100 games to getting a bunch of limbs, but it was never released to the public.
Dude,
if you were truly a veteran player, you would probably remember how simple Season 1 of Fortnite was. But what you might have forgotten about is the dancing aliens around the map. For a few days, you'd be able to go to a television and see these creatures on them, which was a reference to Save the World.
I never knew that.
There's a super subtle change in 2019 that nobody noticed. Every single car around the island was converted to electric.
I remember the electric chargers.
Pipes, all of the vehicles were next to electric chargers. And it seemed like this was a subtle way for Epic to be environmentally friendly until cars actually became drivable and were powered by gas.
We didn't get a Tesla.
And if you go back even further to Season 1, there's a class of students that were addicted to Fortnite. They'd spend all the time playing it until their teacher, Mr. Hillman, had enough. So he asked the game to send him a message, and a few days later, this appeared on the Fortnite loading screen. Even OG players will remember this one because it was just such a small Easter egg. In Season 2 of Battle Royale, players found an indestructible suitcase hiding in a shipping container. It was impossible to break, and inside of the suitcase was a conveyor belt full of vegetables that nobody really knows why this was here, and over 4 years later, there's still no answer. Something that'll definitely give you nostalgia is the faces from Chapter 1. Back in the day, there were various POIs around the map with faces built into them, like Paradise
I remember
Palm,
this.
Polar Peak, and even Sunny Steps. Another thing that'll have you reminiscing is looking back at Chapter 1's trap towers. A lot of people began to build skyscrapers that were covered in spike traps from head to toe, and if anyone walked in and jumped on the launch pad, they'd be eliminated instantly. And moving forward, we have Season 9, the futuristic island with Neo Tilted and Mega Mall. But there was way more than just these two POIs. The map included new areas called hotspots, and if you went there, you'd see drones flying around. If you shot them down, you get some pretty awesome loot.
Those are coming back as well.
A lot of people don't know this is where they all started. But nothing will be as useful as one of the most forgotten Fortnite features of all time.
I can't believe
mushroom.
This didn't come back in OG Chapter 2.
Follow you around while healing you. He was really overpowered, but was only in the game for a single day before being deleted.
Don't know why he ended up in the game.
Even Bud was more appreciated than the original design of the Burst Assault Rifle. In Chapter 1, it looked like this. It became extremely iconic until Chapter 2, when the Burst was completely ruined. I mean, we didn't even realize what we had until it was gone.
It was
and it wasn't the only thing to be reskinned.
Though.
Fortnite has had a few items over the years that have been super unique and barely anyone remembers them. During Laser Beam's Super Knockback tournament, you were able to find a reskin Flint Knock pistol that was called the Exotic Flint Knock. It was only in this mode and sent players absolutely flying. Meanwhile, in the endgame LCM, Epic Games developed a new item called the Shatari Jetpack. It was pretty much just a reskin of the original. When Season 4 came along, it was reskinned again into the Start Jetpack. Most people remember Season 4's mythics, but not many will bring up these jetpacks.
Yeah,
you were interesting. True OG if you remember the fake item that trolled everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2018, there was a rumored bright bag that was called one of the rarest items.
And it wasn't out yet at the time.
Spread like wildfire, as people suggested the only way to get it was by hunting down every llama in a single match.
There was 3 in a game at that point.
Like borderline impossible.
Yes, so
obviously
low.
This wasn't real, but it was one of the oldest conspiracy theories.
Still talk about it to this day.
One of the most famous moments back in the day was when Ninja hit an insane clip with the revolver.
1 HP as well. You can see his builds didn't auto swap there. You have to manually go to wood to get that build up. Look at the headshots. Oh my god!
Reminds me of how Myth was put on the map. Back then, everyone agreed he was one of the best builders in the game, all thanks to his iconic 1v1 against Summit 1G.
I will die if he notices me, though.
Oh no!
Which should be very easy.
You got the OG aerial assault trooper building up against him, can't catch him. You have to manually press to build each time. Like, you couldn't just hold your button down to build, which is why building seemed a bit more impressive back then.
What's happening? He kept building up and building up and
people
building
had
up.
never seen that back then. That was iconic, believe it or not.
Pokemon is one of the most popular creators in Fortnite, but no one realizes she's in the game. Well, she might not have a skin, but Chapter 2 handed us a secret emote taken straight from Oki's contest submission.
It's a cool dance, to be fair. I can't do it, but it's a cool dance. It'd be cool she got a skin, to be fair, as well.
How many of you remember one of the most fun combos of Chapter 1? When they introduced shopping carts as the very first vehicle in Fortnite, we all have the same idea. What happens if you build a mega ramp and ride down?
Dude, they need my clip in there. Screaming, crying, going down the hill.
It's coming up.
Oh, top 5 game. You should use my clip. Okay, that's not as sick as that's way more sick than mine.
Fields, I can never unsee it. As you probably know, the original BR map was designed by a tiny team of developers.
Yeah.
That explains why you could grab the design of Fatal and compare it to Anarchy Acres. It is literally the same POI, just with the buildings rearranged.
Oh, yeah, rearranged,
you gotta be a diehard fan to remember the story behind Haunted Hills. This was a super popular location in Chapter 1, especially with how creepy it was. But it turns out it was also one of the first POIs to be designed by a fan.
Someone on Reddit, I believe.
Lorfee dropped a sketch for a castle on a hill. An Epic employee commented on this and appreciated the name Haunted Hills. And a season later, it was here, just always listening from the community. That's not even the most heartwarming story about a fan concept. In season 6, an 8-year-old boy named Connor posted an adorable idea for a skin.
Imagine just posting about a skin and getting in game.
Please add a skin called the Chicken Trooper, and got over 43,000 upvotes.
Wow.
I mean, that's basically impossible for Epic to ignore.
Yeah.
It's not even crazier when an artist named Etsy Turtle stepped in, turning Chicken Trooper into a full outfit
that's what it looks like.
the Tender Defender. This version got even more upvotes than the original one.
Wow.
Naturally, a few months later,
dominate
Connor logged
Reddit
into Fortnite, and there it was. His Chicken Trooper was finally real.
Oh my gosh. Look at his reaction.
It's in the game.
You did it, dude.
Oh,
but I seriously
my
missed the
heart.
early days of
That's so
Fortnite's
sweet.
playground mode. This was the very first version of creative, and
this
even though it was
is
super
when
limited,
sweat
it
started
didn't
getting
stop
good.
people from going crazy with it. For weeks, YouTubers like Scissors would build entire obstacle courses in Playground made of regular old Fortnite materials. Looking back, this was insanely impressive. In keeping with Chapter 1, it was impossible to build if something was in the way. One of the most annoying things about early Fortnite was a rogue tree, or even something small like a fence or a car. These would make your builds go red and ruin an entire fight. Something that barely anyone remembers was an LTM that paved the way for Zero Build.
Oh, really?
During 14 days of Fortnite, Epic dropped Ground Game.
I remember the icon for it.
Wood, 20 stone, and 20 metal. It was basically their test run for Zero Build, which is why you might be shocked it's forgotten about.
I wonder why they put any builds in, though.
In 2018, the game was taken over by this glitch, allowing players to just straight up shoot people without ever being seen. While most of us peek from our builds, this bug allowed you to shoot straight through them. It was actually Tfue who popularized it.
What? You couldn't, if you were the other player, you just couldn't see Tfue hitting you either.
OGs who were there from the very beginning, you might want to check your locker because there was a secret Minecraft collab in 2017 that less than 1% of players have.
This is the only thing at the moment is Minecraft and Fortnite.
Fortnite hosted that Search for Survivors event I mentioned earlier. And everyone could choose a creator to support. If you pick Chaos Flow 44 as your commander, you would earn this free banner, a Minecraft watermelon.
How did that get in the game?
Bring back old memories is the most controversial backbling in Fortnite history. When pets were first brought to the game in Season 6, everyone loved them.
Pets,
and the most popular pet was this little guy, Bonesy. That is when things got ugly. In Season X, Epic Games released a new backbling into the item shop called Gunner, and what happened next was unlike anything we'd ever seen before. Gunner was almost identical to Bonesy with just a few color changes.
No idea how that happened.
Fortnite wanted you to pay 1,000 V-Bucks.
Must have been an accident,
this
surely.
This sparked an outrage, and within hours, Epic were forced to refund everyone and deleted the backlink forever. They even gave people an extra 200 V-Bucks for the inconvenience.
Nice, thank you.
If you're really feeling nostalgic, you'd have to be a day one player to remember this part of the game. There used to be a crash battle bus on the side of a mountain in Chapter 1.
I remember this,
It was there for quite a while, but most people took the chest and didn't pay attention to it. Looking back, I can't believe that I forgot about this place. It is bringing back so many memories. But if we're talking about classic updates, we can't ignore the Midas Flopper. It was one of the most sought after fish in Fortnite history, but it was extremely rare. This was added in Chapter 2, and you could only get it in a specific part of the map.
It's like around the middle of the map.
You only had a 1% chance of getting it with a pro fishing rod.
I remember spending ages trying to get it.
The authority was actually removed from the map, with no one realizing what this meant. The Midas Flopper would be gone forever. Some of you might never have heard about the Mako glider.
Yeah, we talked about this one.
This was originally exclusive to the Season 1 rewards.
I got the original
level
version.
25. But a month after the season ended, it suddenly appeared in the shop, giving people a chance to grab the glider who didn't earn it. Epic panicked and removed it, making it one of the rarest gliders in Fortnite.
Shouldn't have been there.
The event was so memorable that even people who didn't play Fortnite in 2018 know about it. This was Marshmallow Live at Pleasant Park, the first concert ever in game. Not only was this an incredible chance to listen to Marshmallow with your friends, but they also introduced special effects like low gravity, fireworks, and
it was
a
all
live feed
live
of his voice. Before, live events had never affected players like that. It blew our minds.
Technically the first icon skin, Marshmallow.
Were also surprising. In fact, some of them were straight up terrifying.
Wait,
all it took
jump
was a
scares?
simple room to creep everyone out. In Wailing Woods, you can no-clip through the wall and find this teddy bear staring at the mirror. No thoughts behind those dead eyes. There was no explanation for why this room existed.
Why was it there?
And to this day, we haven't gotten answers.
You couldn't even get into
when
it.
Fortnite was at its peak popularity, literally everybody was playing it.
Of course.
This includes huge celebrities like Drake. In case you somehow forgot, in the early days, Ninja and Drake teamed up to play a few Fortnite games and stream it on Twitch.
Like had 500,000 views or something.
It was a monumental moment for the game, with some players arguing this was the reason Fortnite went viral. Honestly, considering how it blew up that summer, they might be right.
Nah, it would have been big without it, but it was still a cool event. Don't get me wrong.
Let's get it, man.
But that didn't make
Ninja
Fortnite
became
viral.
so influential after this that Fortnite designed entire live events around his streams. They waited for him to be playing a live tournament, and once the moment was right, he watched Kevin the Cube spawn in front of thousands of people.
Maybe that is why they did it. They did it purposely near him. Because the likelihood of him being there when that happens is so low. So they must have had a button ready to go.
What is that?
Wonder if they told him to go there during the tournament.
We're going here. What's happening? They calculate. This is calculated.
That may have given him a disadvantage in the tournament, but some items created wide-scale problems, like the boombox in Chapter 1. It obliterated structures and basically made a temporary zero build zone all the way back in 2019.
So annoying.
Players were not happy, and Epic listened to feedback, vaulting the item
Never came back. So bad.
It didn't even return for the OG season, and neither did bottle rockets.
Also
you could throw these on the
terrible.
ground and launch a barrage of rockets at someone.
The most
It was
useless
best used for
items.
taking down builds, except
It was best
kinda
used for
sucked.
nothing.
The only way to make these useful was spamming them, but after 2 were active, throwing more
I
down
never
would
got a
force the
kill with
others
one.
to disappear. Literally,
Ever.
no one picked these up. But if you own the Season 4 Battle Pass,
Ooh,
you're probably
Omega.
kicking yourself for not grabbing the fully upgraded Omega.
I got it
This
all,
was one of
baby.
the first outfits to ever be
So
upgradable
good.
with edit styles, and if you wanted the full armor set,
Iconic.
you had to make it to level 80 even after you finished the
grind.
pass.
Yes.
You don't have to be an OG to remember this next update, though, because it could only be found in South Korea.
Oh,
For
they used
whatever
Chris
reason,
Pratt.
random posters appeared around the country showing Chris Pratt advertising Fortnite.
Why is he like
But
he's in
the
Squid
game,
Games?
So what is he doing here?
I
But
don't
this small
know.
forest outside of Fatal might contain the most hidden detail in the whole of Chapter 1.
Ooh.
Everyone remembers the hidden animals around the map, like a fox or a crab, but
Yeah.
absolutely no one has heard of the secret rabbit. After
What?
destroying all these trees, a giant outline in the ground
Oh.
appeared. Building high enough to view this, we could see the outline of a bunny.
Oh,
This was so
yeah.
hidden that when a Redditor finally discovered it years later,
Oh,
it
yeah.
went viral.
Wow.
Fast forward to Season 7,
Good
and
spot.
we were introduced to our first mythic item, the Infinity Blade. But it was
The
also the most
blade.
broken item out there. Fortnite straight up designed a weapon that was impossible to fight against. They gave you 400 HP, super
So
jump,
OP.
health
I hope it
regeneration.
comes back
was
just for the
insane.
memes.
And to make things worse, they enabled it during a $1 million
Yeah, that's
tournament. You can already
crazy.
guess how it went.
He has picked up 8 eliminations, 10 eliminations.
They put Kevin the Cube in a tournament with Ninja.
Psalms world, and we are
And they
just
put a
merely living
blade
It's not the only way Season
another
7
tournament.
freaked players out. If you were around back then, you'll definitely remember the Stormwings.
Oh, yeah, the
These
planes.
were one of the worst received vehicles ever added to Fortnite
Oh, really?
outside of mechs.
I don't
They had
remember
unlimited
that.
Fuel, could smash through
Oh, they
builds
were
with no
OP, actually,
consequences,
yeah.
and had a machine gun you could spam forever.
Yeah, I forgot
Players
people
still
hate them at
consider this
first.
one of the worst times to play Fortnite because every game was just pure chaos.
But people did
hey,
love
what's
using
part of the
them.
fun? And besides, every new season feels like that nowadays.
Yeah, there's
But I'll
always some
leave you
OP
with one of
stuff.
the most nostalgic things in all of Fortnite, the original main menu
Oh,
and
look
its
at
music.
that. Look at that. Oh, the memories. I think this is still my lobby music to this day. That's how iconic it is. How many of those did you remember? Big thank you to Top 5 Gaming for that incredible list. And click on screen here to watch even more Fortnite videos. Subscribe if you haven't already to this new Fortnite channel. Thank you for watching.